Hello everyone and welcome to Florida Aviation Network. I'm Ben Coleman, your host for today's program, and we're coming to you live and in the clear here at the set in Orlando, Florida. We have a multitude of topics to discuss today, and I'm glad that you're able to join us. If you're not able to join us live, you might be able to see this afterwards on our website, FloridaAviationNetwork.com. And we want to thank all of our volunteers, and all of this operation that we have going on here, believe it or not, is done with volunteer labor. And the equipment that we use is purchased. It is a 501c3, Florida Aviation Network. And we are always here to provide information about safety, aviation safety primarily. And Plane Time was developed to bring out more of the mechanical aspect of aviation that sometimes goes really unappreciated and unnoticed. But without a good mechanic behind the scene, they don't roll, they don't fly. So let's concentrate primarily on aviation safety, and we're going to drill down into the maintenance aspect of it, and there may be some operational come out of this as well. If you're viewing this is coming to you in two segments today, two 30-minute segments, and you must remain on the bottom of the second segment to get that secret code to go in and get your wings credit. The FAA does recognize this. It is sanctioned, sponsored by the FAA FAST team, and the FAST team folks here in Orlando, Bob Jex, Mark Loffridge, and Javier Caldron. We are very, very thankful for their involvement with what we do here at the Florida Aviation Network. And also just a mention to Nancy Alhaj. Nancy is a designated pilot examiner in the Central Florida area for, God, I think 30, 40 years, long time. About as long as I am old. That was a joke, but don't laugh. But Nancy, we lost her about 2 weeks ago, and she went peacefully and with her family around her, and she left a very, very broad mark in the Central Florida area for pilot training and the pilot certification. So blue skies and tailwinds, Nancy. Today we have anybody heard of an organization called Sun and Fun? It's kind of new. It hadn't been around very long, but it's starting up in Lakeland, and we have the benefit of one of the folks that kind of is one of the shakers and movers now on the other side of the fence for Sun and Fun in the Lakeland Linder International Airport. Mr. Gene Conrad. Gene.
Ben, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure, and it's sorry for that long intro, but we're just getting wound up here, and just I can't claim that I don't know enough about what's going on, because that would be a true falsehood. But I am going to claim a little bit of ignorance, and any time that I make a mistake, it's sometimes made on purpose, sometimes it's not, but you'll never know. But Gene, you were formerly the director of the airport.
Correct.
And this is kind of it's a story that really needs to be developed here about how if you follow your aspirations and you have kind of an ultimate goal, you stick to that plan, and eventually it will come true, period, the end. Gene, tell us what brought you to Lakeland, and you had some activity going on. I think you left Oshkosh when you were 11? 11 years old. Yep. And the kid that just give it to Gene, or Gino, they called you up there. Gino will take care of it. Just let it go. Your dad was very instrumental in getting you involved with that aspect, but what impact has that had on you as far as your formative years coming up in what is known as the largest general aviation event in the world? What impact has that had on you and what you're now doing for Sun and Fun?
Well, everything that I do in my adult life and professionally now, everything comes out of my upbringing at Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So I was born there. My father ran the airport there. from 1975 to 1987. So I grew up around Steve Whitman and Paul Poberezny and Tom and Audrey. And Steve Whitman's wife, Dorothy, used to make me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when I was a kid, and I get to sit in his hangar. So, the whole reason I came and even looked at, coming to run the airport at Lakeland was because Sun and Fun was there. And obviously Sun and Fun and what we've done for almost now 50 years grew up out of the Experimental Aircraft Association and the EAA chapter that was developed here in Lakeland, Florida. So unique upbringing, but everything I am today, and the reason I have my son, for example, Gunnar, he's 15 years old. I met his mother at the EAA Air Academy in 1993. So just unique opportunities for me along the way, but again, found my way to Lakeland. Actually learned about the airport director job for Lakeland when I was volunteering up at AirVenture, where I've volunteered for the last 34 years in the summer of 2009. And jumped all over it, and here we are over 12 years later, and now I'm the new CEO and president of the Aerospace Center for Excellence and FUN Aerospace SXPO. So I'm very humbled and honored to have that position, and it's near and dear to my heart. And there's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility, and I'm already feeling the pressure to perform. So, but we're well on our way.
Well, Gene, knowing you the way that I do know you, a lot of that pressure is self-imposed.
It is.
Because you set some pretty high examples.
Yes, well, growing up with my father, he was an airport director for 30 years. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2005, but I feel like one day I'm going to see him again, and I'm going to and he'll tell me all the things that I did wrong. So I try awfully hard to do the best that we can and do what's right, for the organization. It's not about me and all of that, or the people, that I work for. It's about the organization, what we need to do to keep it strong and keep it moving.
Gene, you have had a very interesting path getting here through Branson, and a lot of learning experiences. And coming into Lakeland, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say without your leadership over at the airport, that the airport would not have become a user of tax dollars, but now a producer for the organizations. And develop that just a little bit with me of just some of the numbers, just so our viewing audience can get some perspective of just what has dynamically what has gone on there at Lakeland.
Well, and I was the face of the airport, for 12 years, but I will tell you, not every community is built like ours. And, in Lakeland, and we had tremendous support from the city commission, from the city manager's office, from the community, and I will say that Sun and Fun has helped and has created that dynamic, for what we have done over our almost, again, 50 years, here at the Lakeland Linder International Airport. But when I got there in 2010, we were doing about 64,000 operations a year, and the revenues for the airport were about $3.5 million. And now, as of this year, the airport is projecting to do 142,000 operations, and the revenues are about 11.3 million. And it's not about me and how I got us there. I had a phenomenal team, phenomenal partners with the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the airport's district office in Orlando, and they were phenomenal partners, and also the Florida Department of Transportation. Both those organizations, invested over, I believe it's close to 150 million into the airport over the last decade, which has helped us get to where we are today. But again, just tremendous support. And without that support, we would not be where we are. There's a lot of, I pay attention to what's happening in the industry, other communities, and a lot of airports, general aviation airports, which is what we are, don't receive the level of support from the politicos, in those cities, which is unfortunate because, I'm biased, obviously, but airports are very, very important. They're, economic drivers for a lot of cities. The number one economic driver in most cities are the airports. And with that and all the investment and all we were able to accomplish, our economic impact to the region went from 167 million in 2010 to now it's over 1.5 billion. We went from 800 employees working on the airport to now over 3,000. So, and it's about aviation. It's about creating those high skill, high wage jobs, those opportunities. And we've had the airport and my tenure there, I had a great run, and I know they're going to continue moving forward as well, because there's some great leadership over there, and some very, it's one thing to hire a person just to fill a seat, but I will tell you, my time over there and now my time at Sun and Fun, it's about hiring people that are passionate and care. We can teach them anything, can teach them whatever skills they're going to need, but we need individuals that are passionate and care, want to be there every single day.
Gene, the management style is very, very critical to an organization, and also, and I'm going to swing this back around into the maintenance aspect, because is there any maintenance that goes on at Sun and Fun?
Oh, there is plenty of maintenance. We own a couple aircraft, so there's maintenance going on, but there's quite a bit of maintenance, because we operate on 177 acres that the airport owns. And we own a lot of facilities, and there is a lot of maintenance outside of aviation. Just take care of our physical plant and our facilities. There's a lot going on, but we have aircraft as well, and we have to take care of those. In the Beulah Restoration Center, for example, our Zenith, and we have our Stearman. We used to have our 182. Unfortunately, we had to divest ourselves of the 182 several years back, but we're going to be acquiring additional aircraft as we move forward. But aviation technicians and having that aspect, people on staff that can take care of our aircraft, that's critically important for us.
And I want to encourage everyone to hang around for the second segment of the show, because we're going to really dig into the airport environment. But Gene, you transitioned from the airport over to Sun and Fun, and Sun and Fun has a rich history of grassroots aviation, camping, little guys. Now it's kind of transitioned into an international expo, but it's all about Sun and Fun, Sun and Fun, Sun and Fun. But what is Sun and Fun there to do now, driving its parent company? And this is something that I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. Put me on camera one. Sun and Fun. I've heard a rumor that Sun and Fun's going away. We've got Amazon that came in to take over the airport, and they're just going to squeeze Sun and Fun out. It's probably just going. I give it 2 or 3 more years. I've heard that rumor. Have you heard that rumor?
I've heard it. I've heard it a lot. Let me say this: I wouldn't have left a good government job to come over and run Sun and Fun if that was the case. So that's number one.
You wouldn't have left your early retirement job.
That's correct. I had a great retirement with the city of Lakeland that I walked away from to come over and run Sun and Fun, and I appreciate those those comments, and I like to respond to them as well.
Okay.
And I will tell you, as the airport director, of Lakeland International Airport, so when Amazon came to us, the first thing that we specifically talked about is the importance of the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo and our fly-in, and what it means to not only the airport but to our community. And so we were negotiating our lease. I told my team, I told the city manager's office, we're probably going to lose them because they're not going to want to deal with Sun and Fun. And my worry too at the time, what are they going to do? They're just going to come in and take over. But we told them, what we needed from them, specifically where Amazon sits. Their building is in the aerobatic box for the jet demonstration teams for the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels. Mm-hmm. So we negotiated in their lease that they have to vacate their building for up to 3 hours per day while the jet demonstration teams are performing, which over the last 2 years, and I don't think a lot of people know this, obviously, but they have cut anywhere from 50 to 60% of their flights during the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo to accommodate what we're doing, right? And so these are things that were negotiated. They're in the lease that they have to abide by, and it's in the lease. I thought we would lose them and they wouldn't come to the airport. Mm-hmm. But here they are. But also at the same time, they play in our industry. They need pilots, mm-hmm. They need mechanics, they need technicians to take care of their aircraft. So they see the event as value as well, right? And just to give you a couple of examples, this year, for example, there's about 4 or 5 departures during the air show, and some people like it, some people don't like it, and I appreciate that. But one of the first officers on one of the Sun Country aircraft this year, 737, was a graduate from the Central Florida Aerospace Academy from our programs. So what we are charged with the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, that is our annual fundraiser for ACE, or the Aerospace Center for Excellence, right? And our mission there for ACE is to engage, educate, and accelerate the next generation of aerospace professionals. And we want to create new air technicians. We want to create new pilots. We want to create new airport managers. We need people in our industry, as we all know and we've talked about and everybody's talking about right now. But enable, if we're going to produce those folks, we also need to put them in jobs. And we need, at Lakeland Linder International Airport, I was a director there, we did everything aviation. It didn't matter what it was. So having Amazon there, Draken International Aggressor Flyers, with F-16s now and F-1 Mirages, NOAA and the Hurricane Hunters, RC model flying at the airport. Tell me an airport, that's a 139 airport, that does everything that happens in Lakeland, has RC model flying on it. Also the Lakeland Aero Club and their grass strip. So we do you have wings, or you fly, or you do anything with aviation, we want you at Lakeland Linder International Airport, and over at Sun and Fun with us. But, I understand, I appreciate, what everybody's thinking, and worried about Amazon and their operation, but it's further from the truth as far as our future and where we're going. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 50th annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in 2024, and we're getting ourselves ready for the next 50 years as well. So we're here for a long, long time. There are no worries.
Well, Gene, it's a really pleasure to hear. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when you were having your discussion with Amazon, because normally Amazon comes in and there's usually a gorilla we got to really appease the gorilla.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, you were the gorilla. They wanted to come here, and you told them, look, we got to have 6 or 7 days that this has got to be in here.
Yeah, but I would tell you, I would, Amazon gets a bad rap, and everybody likes to beat on them a little bit because they are the gorilla in the room, and they're obviously a very, very large company around the world. But I will tell you, all of our dealings with them were phenomenal. They were great partners. When I was the airport director, we talked to them all the time. They're actually going to be here in a couple weeks, exploring new opportunities to invest in Sun and Fun and the Aerospace Expo and ACE, right? So if they're a company that wants to run us off, I don't think that they would be wanting to visit us and also invest in what we're doing, to create the next generation of aerospace professionals, because they need folks too. And that's what we do. But they are great people and have always been above board with us, and will continue to do so as well. So, and Jeff Bezos, just so everybody's clear, does not own the airport, and they're not taking over and running it. And when you think about,
I heard.
No, yeah, I've heard it too. But when you think about it too, we talked about the operations. The airport's on track for 142,000 operations this year. Amazon only makes up about 8,000 of those operations. What's driving the future development of the airport and a future parallel runway, for example, which is still another 8 to 10 years out. So it's not happening tomorrow. It takes a long time to get there. A lot of things have to come to fruition. But what's driving that is actually all the general aviation activity on the airport. It's not Amazon, it's general aviation.
We're going to dig into the airport on segment 2.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, I'll save it for there. But
all right, don't spill all the beans.
Yes,
don't
sir.
spill all the beans. But there's 2 things I would like to develop here. The Sun and Fun has been this big operation for 48 years now. And it was Sun and Fun that had all the ancillary operations going on. And James C. Ray came in and was a big benefactor to help promote the high school over there, the academy, Central Florida Aerospace Academy. And there has been a transition over, and things morph through time. In the business, things change. People come, people go. But it was Sun and Fun, and then all of the things happening underneath Sun and Fun. There's been a reversal, and can you explain what that reversal is and how education is working into this?
Sure. Well, so now the parent company for everything that we do is the Aerospace Center for Excellence, so ACE. And Sun and Fun Flying Inc., which is another 501c3 separate company, is a subsidiary of ACE. And ACE, or Sun and Fun, the Aerospace Expo, is our annual fundraiser for all the educational efforts that we put on a year-round basis. And it takes a lot of funding to do the things that we're doing on a year-round basis to serve not only our community, but also things that we're going to explore, nationwide, to be able to, as far as aviation education and get our name out there. But it is a reversal. Everybody knows us for Sun and Fun and the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, and so there is a little pain for us to get the ACE name out there, the Aerospace Center for Excellence, because that is the parent company. But everybody knows us for Sun and Fun and what we do during our 6 days, generally in April every year. So there has been a reversal, but again, everybody that participates in Sun and Fun, it's not that we're just taking those funds and we're all getting rich and doing various things with those funds. We are investing all what we are netting off of the flying goes back into what we're doing on a year-round basis. I'll keep the lights on. I will tell you, I just signed the check yesterday. It's costing us about $27,000 a month just for the electric bills for all of our facilities at the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo campus. So there's a lot of expense. I mean, for a not-for-profit to operate and for the large physical plant that we have and what we're doing, again, to educate the next generation of aerospace professionals, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to put on the flying as well. I think this year our revenues from the flying were about 6.5 million-ish, and it's probably about $4 million just to put on the event. For the 6 days. And then so that $2.5 million that we net essentially is how we're operating and doing all we do with ACE and all of our educational efforts for the year-round basis.
Those are big numbers.
They are.
And I also want to develop the education aspect of this and how those numbers roll into this. Have you also heard that aviation, particularly general aviation, is going to dry up? I mean, the numbers are shrinking, the pilot numbers are shrinking, everything's shrinking. But I don't think that some of the folks maybe that's watching this show realize the impact the aviation has on everything. Everything. Things that you eat, things that you wear, things that you want to go play with.
Your box is getting to you from Amazon?
Yeah.
Right?
Just about I don't know anybody that hadn't bought something on Amazon.
Yep.
or eBay, or it's going to travel. But it's the education and the knowledge aspect is so vitally important, and the volunteerism and that spirit. If it wasn't for volunteerism, we wouldn't be where we are as a nation. And we're not going to get into politics on where we are as a nation, but we're still one of the greatest countries in the world. And if you don't believe that, you need to go and visit some of these other countries to appreciate just how good we have it here now. And we need to perpetuate that through knowledge, education, and volunteerism. And I'm going to go out there in a stretch. There's probably something at Sun and Fun for everyone if they want to work, if they want to get involved and learn. There's something for them at Sun and Fun or Aerospace Center for Excellence.
Sure. I will tell you, our organizations would not exist today without our volunteers. It started as a volunteer organization. It's still a volunteer organization today. And right now, I think we have anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 volunteers, that help us put on the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, but then also volunteers that are with us, we call yearly birds, that are with us on a year-round basis, and also our early birds that generally show up around December and are with us through the fly-in. And then we have our folks that show up, 1 week to 10 to 14 days during the event to help us conduct what we do. And without them, we don't exist. In 1974, when this all started, if there wasn't for that volunteer spirit, we wouldn't exist and be where we are today. So all those efforts over all the decades has created something that is truly, truly special. I mean, when you think about what we have on the campus there at Lake Linder International Airport, there is no other airport in the United States that has what we have. And that's all because of those volunteers in 1974. There is no other airport. Someone can email me, tell me if I'm wrong. But for what we have on our airport with the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, with Travis Career College and their A&P program, with the Lakeland Aero Club, with our Florida Air Museum, with the Ramus Skylab Innovation Center, which we just opened, now it's our 1-year anniversary with our labs that we have. No one has what we have on our campus anywhere in the world.
We haven't talked about Elevate yet, but there's just so much going on, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention Billy and Adair Henderson.
Absolutely.
I mean, and again, there's all sorts of different. We need to go back to the way it was in the old days. Well, we're not in the old days. Things transition, And we're in the new days now and new technology. There's so much that's changed.
Yep.
And Billy is to be rewarded, commended. Thank you, Billy. And Adair. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Adair, for letting Billy have time to come and dedicate to us here. But it's just so important to remember the roots and really strive for the focus. And this is where I don't have any concerns whatsoever. You were laser focused in what we're going to do. And as long as we can do it, you're going to be pumping out pilots and mechanics.
Correct.
And I believe you just hit 150?
Yes, 150 certificated pilots through the James C. Ray Scholarship Program. And that is a big number. Right now, I would say I believe we have about 50 kids in the scholarship program right now. And we're awarding anywhere from 2 to 3 scholarships per month. Which is anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 right now, for someone to get their certificate. So we're very, very proud of that. But it takes a lot of work too. And it's not just about awarding these kids money and walking away from them and expecting them to go just get it done. We have Rochelle Floyd, one of our employees. She does a phenomenal job mentoring these kids. So it's, here's your award, here's the scholarship, but also we're going to keep track of you too. We need you to get through, we need you to perform, and I believe we're at an 85% success rate for, awarding a scholarship and then for them actually, getting all the way through and getting their certificate.
Well, and again, aviation is not for everybody. And it's very important for the parents and the mentors out there. If you want to get involved, there's a way to get in. Go to the website, flysnf.org, and it's a very, very user-friendly website. And learn about it. Get involved. The learning aspect, and again, it's a very, very delicate subject of someone that they're just not really cut out to be a pilot. They're not cut out to be a mechanic. They don't have physical dexterity, and they just don't have the multitasking mindset. But there's still something that they can do in aviation, and because it's very, very broad. I mean, there's logistics. There's things that don't involve flying and operating an aircraft or having a toolbox with a whole bunch of tools. But this is where getting involved and being around folks like you, and trust me, folks, I used to be one of the young guys. Did you used to be?
I was much younger, yes.
Whippersnapper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at age 11, you probably grew up around it and don't know any better.
Yep.
I grew up around it, J3 Cubs and so forth. I just didn't know any better. And if you really enjoy what you do, and I think you do you really work at Sun and Fun?
No.
It's
my wife and I, we were just actually talking about it the other day. I don't know if you call it a sickness or whatever you want to call it, but I work all the time. Not because I feel like I have to. It's just it's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own airplanes. I don't own boats or motorcycles or anything. I work, and my job is my life. Obviously, my family's my life. They're always number one,
always.
right? But I live, eat, and breathe, aviation and what I do. It's just how I grew up. But it's important though, because someone's got to take care of it. Whether I was at the airport, and now I'm being charged with running ACE and the FUN Aerospace SXPO. I talked about it earlier. There's a lot of pressure, and someone, I'm the caretaker along with my team and all the volunteers. And it's an important event, and it's. We were talking about the history. We have to appreciate our roots. We have to appreciate the history and where we came from. I'm very, cognizant of that, and, we have to change and do some different things, but always with an appreciation for how we got to where we are today. And, some things I will tell you too is we're looking to develop and, grow the FUN Aerospace Expo. We're going to go back a little bit too. There's some things we need to bring back that we've done in the past and really need to focus on, because a lot of people are visiting us, during those 6 days because of our programming. They want to come for the forums. They want to come for the workshops. We're bringing back our speaker series too. We want to bring people from the industry in to talk to our folks and make sure that we're providing, the activity so people want to fly in and be there with us and camp under the wing and have a good time, and entertain them at the same time. So we're like you said earlier, we're laser focused. There's a lot of work to do, but we have great bones and a great organization, great structure to work from. So.
And we're going to develop something that if you've been to Sun and Fun and you've flown in or you haven't, if you haven't, it's going to be new news to you. If you have been there a lot, the east side, we're developing some organization on the east side, some facilities, used to be called the Oasis, the Island, but we're going to take a break now, Gene, and we're going to develop and get into that on the second portion of this. And we're going to wind this up for the first segment, but remember, don't go away. Come back, because the second segment is going to be where you're going to get your wings credit. And we are talking about some very, very important items here that you won't want to miss on the second segment. Trust me. See you in a little bit.